Today we will discuss about the Ancylostoma duodenum. We know that duodenum, our small intestine is about three part. One is duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. Okay, and this one is the Ancylostoma duodenum. We then in the name itself we can able to know that Ancylostoma duodenum will be produce infection in the duodenum and jejunum only. Then the habitat of this bacteria, the adatome, lives in the small intestine of man, as we already discussed, and particularly in the jejunum. In the small intestine it will be develop infection, and particularly in the jejunum it will be stay. Relay station is there, and if we come the morphology of this bacteria, the male is smaller and female is the longer. In all the bacteria, I think the male is smaller and female is little bit larger. Then coming back to length of this male, the male length is 8 mm, and female length is 12.5 mm. Okay, then the here one interesting point is there, the shape of the tail and male and female is different. Okay, the shape of tail in men, it is umbrella like fashion, and it is like a copulatory bursa. Okay, we will find out in the picture that yeah, this one is a male. Okay, this one A is the male, and you can see that here is a one umbrella like structure is there. Okay, which is nothing but called as a copulatory bursa. Okay, then coming back to genital opening of this bacteria, there is a genital opening in the posterior opening. Okay, in the posteriorly open at the genital area. Okay, in the posterior position, and there is a genital area, and which is nothing but called as a cloacal. Okay, here you can see that there is a one name is there, and cloacal is it's a name. Okay, there will posteriorly open in the genital area. And come back to the female shape of the tail, and there is a no expanded bursa. The tail is tapering. You can see there is no expanded bursa. We have already discussed the male is a umbrella like shape of this tail, but the female one is a tail is tapering. There is no expanded bursa. Okay, then come back to genital opening of this bacteria, the middle third of the body. Okay, you can see that in the middle third of the body you can see the uterus. Okay, in the there is a one ovary. Okay, in the middle third of the body there is the genital opening open. Okay, then come back to the larva. Okay, we will discuss about the larva. Means which form is the cause infection and which is not. Okay, there are two type of larva. We know that rhabdiform larva, which is not that much infectious, and the filiform larva is a mature, sexually matured larva, which will be producing infection for us. And we discuss the rhabdiform larva. Which is 250 mm in length, hatch out in the soil, and it will be hatch in 48 hours only. The rhabdiform larva molt twice, and in third day it will be producing filariform larva, and it will be producing infecting agent. Okay, it will be infective stage of the parasite. The time taken from the rhabdiform larva to filariform larva, it about 8 to 10 days. Okay, so come back to the life cycle of this bacteria. We have already discussed about the filariform larva is infective, and rhabdiform larva is the egg, which will be hatch out after 48 hours and form the filariform larva. Come back to the life cycle of this bacteria. This one is a male. Okay, you can see that umbrella like structure is there. In the life cycle there is a no intermediate host. Only one host is there. There is only one, like man. Okay, only man is the definitive host, and the various stage of life cycle are as follows. In stage one, passage of egg from infected host. How the passage of the egg from infected host, by the feces only. Okay, from the feces, and it will be pass from the one infected host to another host. Okay. And by the soil it will be developed rhabdiform larva to infilariform larva. We have already discussed the at the filariform larva is the infective agent, and the rhabdiform larva will be hatch out after 48 hours, and it will be form the filariform larva. The development of soil is there, and by one man who is not wearing any protection in like in who are barefooted, and they will be in the host. Okay. And a new host. Okay. And there will be new host, and from the barefooted, they will be enter into skin, the filariform larva, which is infected domain. Okay. Then it will be migrate into the skin and lymphatics, then it will be comes in the lymph node, and in the venous circulation. After the venous circulation, it will be going to the right side of the heart, and from the right side of the heart it will be going to lungs, and from the lungs it will going to trachea, and trachea finally goes to pharynx, and then it will again swallowed, and it will be coming to small intestine, and small intestine is the relay station of this bacteria, and it will be producing infection and in the small intestine, and it will be sexually mature in this small intestine. Here you can see the localization of laying of eggs, and we will discuss about that. The larva settle down in the small intestine, then the larva with the help of buccal capsule, which is formed in the pharynx. In the you can see that the buccal capsule will be formed in the pharynx only. Okay. In the epiglottis, and it will be from the buccal capsule, from the buccal capsule, and the capsule attached, and the intestine mucosa grows into adult worm. Okay. In about months are they are sexually matured, and eggs are laid by the female. Okay. And then they are passed by the stool of the another man. Okay. Then again the life cycle will be continued by the stool. One man will be, again will come, a new host will become, then again same things will be repeated. They also come back to a pathogenicity of this bacteria. The worm cause hookworm disease in man. Okay. Mode of infection we have discussed that when a barefooted man will become in the contaminated soil of this filariform larva, they will be penetrate in the skin, and the entry of the skin will be formed. The thin skin between the toes, and it will be enter, and the dorsum of the feet, and the inner side of the soles, it can be enter. And then the larva can penetrate any part of the skin which is sufficiently thin, this filariform larva. And infection may also occur by the accidentally drinking of water. Can be we can also or infected by the drinking water also, by the filariform larva. If contaminated soil is there, and the soil is by the soil the water is contaminated, then we can also able to get this bacterial infection. The infective agent is the filariform larva, I have already discussed, and migration through lungs. It will be migrate through lungs also, and portal entry is skin, and cytolocalization it is a small intestine. We have already discussed, and the pathogenicity effects are caused by two heading. One is Ancylostoma larva, and one is adult worm. Okay, we will discuss about that. First I will discuss about the adult worm. Okay, in the first one. Okay. In the first one, and the adult worm is the worm assumes a Y-shaped figure during copulation. It will be Y-shaped figure, and copulatory bursa. We have already discussed that copulatory bursa is the male agent. And the tail of this shape is copulatory bursa. This consists of three lobes, and one is dorsal, two. The second one is lateral, and each one lobe is supported by a cutaneous rays, and total number of rays are 13. Lifespan of this adult worm is 3 to 4 years, and small, pinkish, and fusiform in shape. An adult worm is nothing but is a male copulatory bursa, which is about 3 lobes, and each lobe has three 13 cutaneous rows, and the life cycle of this cutaneous rays is about 3 to 4 years, and it is small and pinkish, fusiform in shape. And so come back to pathogenicity of this bacteria. This will be discuss about the two headings. I have forgot to discuss about the adult worm. That's why I have goes back to and discuss about that. The We have discussed about the larva and custom larva, which is to form, and pathogenicity caused by the adult worm also. Then and customer larva are penetrate through the skin, and through skin it will be producing ancylostoma dermatitis, which is nothing but ground itch. We will discuss about that. No, don't worry about that. And second one is scraping eruption. So from the skin it will be producing two type of infection, which is ground itch, and second one is scraping itch eruption. Okay, what is ground itch? Occur at the site of the entry. This ground itch will be occur at the site of the entry and disappear one in 1 to 2 weeks. What will be happening in ground itch? Because of the site of the entry. And the ground itch will be produced. Okay, which side of the ground bacteria will be entry, and this side this ground itch will be produced. You can see. And then keeping eruption. Creeping, what is creeping absent? It is a condition in which a filariform larva wander about through the skin for several weeks and months. Okay, and producing a red itchy papule. You can see this is a red itchy papule. ठीक है, ठीक है. Creeping eruption means which is nothing but a red itchy papule. Okay, it will be producing infection because the filariform larva, which is penetrate in the skin, and they'll be stayed in the skin in several weeks and months also. That's why they will be producing red itchy papule. Okay. Then lessons in the lungs. We have already discussed that in the life cycle that it will be going to lungs also. Okay, in bronchitis, because of the lungs, they will be go that. That's why bronchitis and bronchopneumonia can also be occur. Okay, so come back to diagnosis of this bacteria. We have discussed that this eggs will be passed by through a stool, and then if we examine the stool, we can able to diagnose this bacteria infection. Okay, by examination of a stool infections, we can detect this bacteria. And then detection of larva in the sputum, we can also able to detect by sputum, because the life cycle we will be continue in the pharynx also. Okay, in occult blood test it will be positive. Okay, in blood test it will be positive, and in blood examination so eosinophila will be shown in blood examination. In this one is you have to understand. Then if we give the treatment, there is a albendazole 400 mg albendazole. Once one time you can cure that. And then ferrous sulfate is there, and folic acid, vitamin B12 is there. If we give the prophylaxis of this bacteria, prevention of soil pollution by proper control of sewage disposal. Okay, we can prevent the soil pollution by controlling of sewage disposal. Okay, and we have to give the personal protection, wearing of boots and gloves. We know that barefooted man, they are farmers only. They will walk in the farmers and in the soil by barefoot only. We can't we have to, if we give the protection, personal protection like boot and gloves, and then they will not be direct touch to the soil. That's why we have to give the personal protection of the barefooted man. Okay, so here we finish that. What is that? And customer duodenal. Okay, so if we able to understand this topic, please thumbs up and subscribe my channel.